And good evening. Weather Not meteorologist Evan Hatter with a check of your weather here as we have shifted into severe weather mode. We now do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the southern portions. Be better if you could hear me, right? We now have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the southern portions of Logan County at this hour, and that runs until 5:45 this evening. So 35 minutes left on this warning. Here's where the strongest of the weather is. We'll zoom out and show you the entire WABBLES region. For many of us, we might not see a whole lot tonight. Brownsville, Morgantown, not a whole lot going on. Frankly, not a ton expected. Russellville, you're about to get in on a rather hefty cell that is beginning to push onto the east and the northeast into downtown Russellville, but that cell is not severe. It's not even got a special weather statement on it, but we've been watching these two cells that have gone up back to back across portions of southern Logan into Simpson counties that have gotten our attention, and it's the back cell, the cell further off to the west that's right on top of 431, basically from Adairville on north, between from Keysburg up to Lickskillet over toward Middleton and down to Adairville, under that severe thunderstorm warning again until 5:45. Just looking up at the Weather Service wire there just to make sure. 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail to the size of quarters, a possibility with this particular storm as it continues to push on off to the east at, I didn't get a speed. It's moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So at this point, we're going to continue to watch this particular storm. And funny enough, that warning is actually not within our severe thunderstorm watch. The severe thunderstorm watch is in effect in our region for only Allen, Barron, and Simpson counties until midnight, though if you look at the entirety of the watch, it's kind of tough to see, but basically this thing runs from Pikeville to northeastern parts of Mississippi, so I don't think it's going to last until midnight for us, but the immediate concern right now is the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southern Logan County running until 5:45. You'll notice the shape on these thunderstorms. They have that kind of kidney bean look to them. They have these kind of appendages on the back. Yes, they are indeed rotating, but I will point this out. While we do have some wind shear further up in the atmosphere, as you get closer to the ground, it becomes a whole lot weaker. So I think it's going to take a lot to get any kind of tornado out of this, and even if it did, it would be rather brief. But those can still cause damage, which is why we take every warning seriously. This is not some big outbreak scenario or anything like that, but these storms will likely be hefty, at least for a little bit. This isn't our only round of storms for this evening. This will likely be our only round of severe storms as we head through the evening hours, but I do think we will be getting in on some more rainfall. Yes, some thunder and lightning, but the severe weather threat, once this line really pushes through, our severe weather threat is done. And you can kind of see this front is working through the region now. And that's why places like Morgantown, Brownsville, even I would go so far as to say Bowling Green to Glasgow and north, you may be in good shape. We're going to continue to watch these cells as they pop. But again, the better ingredients have been to our south and to our east as we've gone through the evening hours. So again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect only for Logan County right now, southern Logan County, and this runs until 5:45, so about another 30 minutes on this warning. This does include places like Adairville, Dot, Lickskillet, Shockoe, up to Corinth, over toward Middleton, Oakville in this warning. That's where the heaviest of the hail is right now within the warning, right on Orndorff Mill Road, or Kentucky 96, if you will. That's headed toward US 431. Or Nashville Road over the next couple of minutes as that pushes on through. That's where the potential for that 1-inch sized hail or the quarter-sized hail will be a possibility as we work through the next 35 minutes or so. If it holds together, we're looking at parts of Simpson County, maybe southern Warren County. This first cell that got going, if you look at it, it's more like two cells now. That cell has undergone a split. And this happens when we have the particularly atmospheric currents that we do have today, in which thunderstorms will often start to split. Typically, the southern cell would be the cell that's more likely to produce a tornado. because it's got that unimpeded flow into it from the south. What we would call a right mover. The northern cell becomes a left mover and is more likely to produce large hail than a tornado. They still can produce tornadoes, but again, tornadoes are not the main concern tonight. In fact, we have nothing indicating that anything like that is imminent, but we do have some thunder and lightning as that cell is pushing further to the east across southern parts of Logan County. Really between Adairville and Oakville is where this storm is going to move, right on top of Shaco over the next 30 minutes or so. Just checking to make sure we've got nothing new from the Weather Service. Again, outside of there, not a whole lot going on. Some showers in parts of Allen County on Scottsville Road there, I guess 231. As you're going between Scottsville and the Warren County line. Then we have this other cell that was briefly had a statement on it for 50-mile-per-hour winds. It's become a little more ragged and as it's pushed to the east as that storm has split. That northern cell, we're going to watch places like Woodburn, like Plano, and over toward Alvaton for the potential for some gusty winds and maybe some smaller hail with that storm. Putting it all into motion, you can see what these storms have done. They've just kind of had trouble getting up and going. There's that first storm splitting. The second storm behind it has already developed and will continue to push off to the east, a slight northeast component. Excuse me. As we've gone through the evening hours. But again, the main threat with these are going to be the potential for damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour and that hail to the size of now larger than quarters. That's going to be ping pong balls. Looks like 1.25 inches. They've trimmed some of that warning back, so folks out toward Keysburg and Lickskillet out of this warning now, but continuing for Dot, Oakville up to Corinth, Adairville, Shaco, still in the warning till 5:45 this evening, and we've added in. Looks like they've bumped that hail to, I'm sorry, not ping pong balls, $50. 1.25 inches is $50. Ping pong ball would be 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches to golf ball size. So at this point, we are looking at the potential for those hailstones up to $50 size, and that will be pushing across Nashville Road over the next couple of minutes or so, or US 431 there in Logan County. If you're in downtown Russellville, you're likely getting in on some heavy rain, some gusty winds, nothing there severe with that storm. That'll head up 6880 toward Auburn, but again, that storm is not severe. It's kind of behind the line of where the severe weather would be. You kind of see where that frontal boundary is if you look at the radar. Basically running from Louisa, Kentucky through Berea, back through the southern half of the Wabbles community, and then further on to the south, it kind of takes that turn towards Dixon and Jackson, Tennessee, where a couple more severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect there well west of Nashville this evening. But again, our concern continues to be this cell that continues to work through the eastern parts, or the southeastern parts, I should say, of Logan County. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 5:45 here this evening, so that's another 25 minutes or so, and you can see turning on the velocity. Looking at this from a meteorological perspective, we can tell that this storm is being influenced by the wind shear in the atmosphere that's giving it that kind of kidney bean shape. But in the lowest levels, we're just not seeing anything that would jump out to us as going, whoa, maybe something's trying to spin up. We're not seeing that out there with this cell. What we're looking at here, and the hail cores come down a little bit as well, we're looking for 60-mile-per-hour winds as that storm releases a big gust of wind, as well as hail to the size of, at its peak, $50. Looking at the radar scan now, I would say we're probably closer to that quarter-size hail as that pushes through. Our friends over in Franklin, and the northern side of Franklin, quite frankly, into the northern parts of Simpson County, sneaking into southern Warren County, messy grouping of cells that could produce, in fact, we're not even seeing a ton of lightning with this at the moment. Those could produce some gusty winds, brief gusty winds like 25 to 30 miles per hour and some heavy rain as those push through. That is not severe at this time, and it never was severe, as a matter of fact. It has not been severe thus far. but we'll continue to watch it. I know we've got high school football kicking off not too long. I had the list of games in front of me just to make sure, especially our folks in Russellville. Big game tonight. Logan County's in town. Well, obviously, they're in town all the time. It's Logan County. But big rivalry game there. Logan County and Russellville. Franklin Simpson's up in Lexington tonight taking on Lafayette. Bowling Green, the Purples, up in Scott County taking on the Cardinals, and Georgetown up in Central Kentucky. But other games tonight, Warren Central's at home tonight, Warren East, Glasgow's at home tonight, Greenwood's at home tonight. They are all going to be watching the weather quite closely as these storms push off to the east. Butler County's at home tonight. Todd Central's coming into town. You're in good shape. Not worried about those folks. If you know anybody who's headed out across Butler County for the Muhlenberg County Edmondson County game. Edmondson County headed out toward Greenville tonight. No big issues for them. And a lot, I think, by the time we kick things off, I think we'll be in better shape for some of these. But folks may be traveling up from Scottsville. Allen County, Scottsville is playing at Warren Central tonight. So anybody traveling to the game is likely going to deal with some of these showers and storms as well, pushing on through. As we continue. So the reason we've hit Facebook and YouTube and all of our social platforms this evening, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southeastern parts of Logan County, and that runs until 5:45 this evening. Hail to at least quarter size, up to potentially $half size, and winds to 60 miles per hour as that pushes on to the east. And again, this is not a widespread event. This is not going to be one of these huge, big time, we're on here for hours and hours and hours and hours. These are going to be briefly severe. They'll push through. We'll end the severe threat. While we will see more storms tonight, do not be alarmed. Do not be surprised if we run into more showers and storms after dark, especially after midnight. That next boundary kind of coming in, that will be the one that ushers in the cooler air. But by that time of night, we've dried up the fuel, we don't have the wind energy, and we'll have at least somewhat of a stable layer of air near the surface. That will prevent those storms and some of that stronger wind from trying to get to the ground. So severe weather threat is over after this evening. We just have to get these storms on out of here first. Watching, too, that growing cell near Halifax, north of Scottsville at this point. Still the potential there for some heavy rain, maybe some brief gusty winds. That lead cell is really starting to fall apart. It's just an amalgamation of showers and heavy downpours now from Franklin on north, up 31W towards Salmons and up to Woodburn. So you're going to be dealing with some scattered showers and some rumbles of thunder with these as these push through. So if you're headed out to the high school games, make sure you keep an eye on it as we head through the evening hours. Otherwise, we're doing okay. Right now is the point, except for that severe thunderstorm warning. And if this thing doesn't get extended further east, it's kind of waffling on its strength. It may be trying to split as well. If this warning is allowed to expire at 5:45, I should say, we'll go ahead and let our stream go. I don't think this is not an all-night event, even though that watch goes until midnight. I think they'll be able to clear some of those counties away quite quickly as we head through tonight. But some potent cells still across the southern portion of the WABBLES community, south of Bowling Green's where our greatest threat for severe weather will be. Right now, the most imminent severe weather threat is across portions of southeastern Logan County, where a severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 5:45, though this storm looks like it's going to scoot right between Corinth and Adairville. Places like Dot, you're done with this. Oakville, you're done with this. But Shockoe, it's headed in your direction, and it's just about on top of you, and will be as we head through the next little bit. So that will continue to push on to the east into Simpson County. No word on whether or not we're going to continue to extend that warning further to the east. You can actually see, if you look down below that center camera there, that's the Sexton Bin Builder Skycam out near Gold City, which is in the eastern part there of Simpson County. So they're starting to get in on the action with that rain beginning to push in. So we'll be keeping an eye on things through the evening hours. And again, watching all of our cameras here this evening. Let me switch one of those, as a matter of fact. Winds to 50 possible. I don't know if you saw the little blue polygon pop up there. Winds to 50 will be possible there into portions of northern Allen into southern Barron County, basically on top of Barron River Lake. And I'll try to pull that camera up for you there. There you see it on the bottom. It's now that third camera. And we'll try to pull that up full screen. There's that cell. A rather mean-looking cell. They're kind of between two cells, which was my weather theme podcast that never went anywhere. Between two cells. Anyway. Ooh, we've gone too far. There we go. That is looking into the storm from our Proclaim Broadcasting WPBM TV31 camera, and that pushes off to the east. Or it's looking now off to the most likely off to the west. It's going to go topsy-turvy for a second. Yeah, that's going to be the one off to the west. So you see some of the skies there in the distance. That is the cell to the west, the one that's now producing potentially 50-mile-per-hour winds and hail to, they said half-inch size hail on that one, on that warning there. We're trimming up the severe thunderstorm warning there in Logan County again. And that is continuing to trim spots off, but the fact they haven't canceled it tells me that the possibility is there that does get extended into Simpson County when the time comes. We're not far away now from the Simpson County line. Bring radar back full screen. You see what's going on. Severe thunderstorm warning there for southeastern Logan County, and the hail core with this storm looks like it's about to push right on into Chaco. Here within the next little bit. So if you're in Chaco, don't be shocked if you hear that hail, if you hear the sound of the hail on the roof, because we do have that storm pushing in with that hail potential right on top of Chaco over toward Middleton, and that starting to develop a cell on its southwest flank right on top of Adairville as that continues to push off to the east. Heavy rain now on the east and northeast side of Franklin as well. That's not severe, but we'll continue to push to the east as we head through the evening hours. What's happening here is this frontal boundary continues to sink to the south, so we're starting to lose the best ingredients. They're being pushed off to the east. That's why nothing is happening in Bowling Green, in Morgantown, in Brownsville. Not a whole lot's going on because the cold front's already passed you. Winds have already shifted off to the north and west a while ago. Let me see if I can pull on the, those are power outages, I think. Power outages? Yeah. Lightning's on. Let's see. Turn on the, so we can turn on our METARs here. Station plots. Yeah, Bowling Green, we are out of the north. And Glasgow, we are out of the northwest. Northwest, I should say. So the winds have shifted already. Greenville out of the north and west, further to the south. Even Clarksville, Tennessee, are over toward Fort Campbell, or closer to Fort Campbell, out of the north and west. But still notice, look at this station in Springfield, Tennessee. Still out of the south and west. So we're not there yet. These storms are along the front. They'll push on through. You'll get some brief gusty winds and some heavy rain, but the widespread severe weather threat is not an issue. I don't know why the Portland METAR is saying it's 32 with a dew point of 32. That'd feel pretty good right now, but maybe that's just me. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for another 15 minutes or so for southeastern Logan County, and this runs until 5:45. Let me turn off those observations there. Just doing a little quick update for all of our friends everywhere. Oh, just missed it. Severe thunderstorm warning, if you're still with us, severe thunderstorm warning continues only for southeastern Logan County, though wouldn't shock me if that does try to get extended into Simpson County, where there is very heavy rain there on the east and northeast side of downtown Franklin, as well as areas north of Scottsville at this point, and we'll continue to watch it. My apologies. My apologies for the silence. I was trained not to allow dead air, yet here we are. Still watching this cluster of thunderstorms. The only severe weather we have right now remains in southeast Logan County, with the next in line being portions of Simpson County, heading through, the next 30 minutes or so. But you notice north of about Rich Pond, not a whole lot going on. I was talking about just a second ago, we've already shifted the winds to the north and west out there. There's our severe thunderstorm warning, now including all just about of Simpson County, the only exception being that very far northern tip, as well as the very far eastern sides of Logan County. Gold City is just on the edge of this one. Temperance is outside the polygon. Just about everybody else, including downtown Franklin, you've been getting hit hard with heavy rain. But here comes this cell starting to push in out of Logan County into Simpson County. This warning runs until 6 o'clock. So we've added another 15 minutes, basically, and a whole nother county onto the warning. So, backing it out again, severe thunderstorm warning now for Logan and Simpson counties until 6 o'clock, though the part of that first warning should probably be allowed to expire 5:45, because by that time those storms will be out of there. Watching other cells trying to go up as you head north of Scottsville. That's a strong cell. It's about to move over Barren River Lake, and that's the view. You see the third camera there that's just off to this side, just below me there. That's the camera you're looking at, number 3, third from the right there. That's Barren River Lake. We all our WPBM Proclaim broadcasting cam, and then our Sexton Min Builder Sky Cam in Gold City. They're on the edge of this warning. Nice lightning from the Barren River Lake camera. Also have our view from downtown Bowling Green. Things look ominous, but not a whole lot going on, and really not a whole lot expected as we head toward Bowling Green. At least in terms of severe weather. I do think we'll see some scattered showers and storms as we head through the evening into the overnight hours. That threat will be there. But for the most part, we will not be looking at some sort of big all-night severe weather event. You're going to hear thunder and see lightning later on tonight. Those storms not expected to be severe. And it's likely to stay that way. Checking out a few things. The other thing we'll have to watch as we head through the evening will be anywhere these storms start to train east-west, which is kind of what's happening there in southern Logan into Simpson County. We're going to have to watch the flooding potential as those storms push through. Let me just check the velocity on this. We haven't checked this in a little bit. This shows us what the warning looks like, or what the winds inside the storm look like. Yeah, while it has that shape of a rotating supercell, the rotation is more in the mid-levels than it is down to the ground. The wind shear down at the ground is not as prevalent, which is a good sign. It's a good thing, because we did have quite a bit of instability today, and just enough of that wind shear to produce a couple of those storms. Cheryl's asking, is Bowling Green cleared of the rain and storms? I mean, I can't say they're cleared of rain and storms. It could rain at some point. In fact, we're seeing rain south of downtown now toward Plano and south of Greenwood. But concerts in the park, I don't think severe weather is going to be much of a concern. These storms will continue to push east and southeast through the night. Technically, the severe thunderstorm watch, which doesn't include Warren County or Butler County, Edmonson County, even into Logan County, doesn't include most of the region, but does include Simpson County, Allen County, Barron County through midnight, though I would say that we'll likely be able to drop that as we push on through. So, again, nothing we haven't been through before, nothing extraordinary or anything. Even on that next look at things, not looking at anything that would give us the potential there for anything in terms of a tornado, but the potential will be there for winds up to 60 miles per hour, even hail to the size of quarters over the next little bit. Chase reporting on X that he's seeing some rain in Auburn. Yeah, just a little shower, and you're just about done with it. That'll be pushing into that. That'll be pushing into the one of the two sections of Simpson County that's not warned, and then out toward Rockfield and Woodburn. Nothing severe with that. We're really crashing this front through here. This was the question through the evening hours, was would we be able to get storms to form in our region before this front pushes through? And the answer to that is yes. There you see a couple severe thunderstorm warnings out in East Kentucky. If you know anybody out Wolfe County, Morgan County, Estill, Jackson, Owsley, Lee counties in Kentucky, part of Powell County as well. They've got severe storms out that way. For us, watching the storms basically almost confined within Simpson County at this point. Areas near Providence. If you look off to the west and north, we don't suggest you do that. We would rather you be safe and stay indoors. But anything that might be rotating would be quite visible there. Don't go out and look. Be safe. I'm watching you. We've got the heavy rain still pushing through, and the severe thunderstorm warning continues. Aaron's wondering about the tornado potential again. Anything here would be brief. I understand the storm anxiety. I've lived it myself. These are nothing to get too worked up about at this point. Nothing in the way of like low-level rotation that would jump out to me to say, ooh. It does have that scary shape, I know. But again, looking at the velocity, there's just not a whole lot there. I'm looking at the scans, it's the same. Yeah, I mean, there's just not much making it all the way to the ground in terms of the rotation. Still watching that strong cell north of Scottsville. It's about on top of Barron River Lake. Severe weather with that is currently not there. That is not warned, but 50-mile-per-hour wind and hail to the size of half inch in diameter. A possibility with that one, I believe. Just double-checking. 50 miles per hour and half-inch hail moving east at 25. A severe thunderstorm warning as well. This is, what did they say? I had it pulled up over here, and I didn't. I only skimmed it. Reading comprehension, kids, it's important. East at 35. So that's moving at 35. So we'll put a track on this while we're here. This is moving east, a little bit south of east, but 35 looks fine. We're talking Price's Mill by about 540.
Schweitzer by about 549. Flat Rock 556. Franklin itself by 556, 557 Geddes. Pedden Mill by about 6 o'clock. Hickory Flat by about 6:05. Highland by about 6:07. Eubanks Ford, Bournes Ford, McElroy Ford by about 10 after the hour. So again, keeping an eye on it. The main threat with this storm, in addition to the torrential rainfall, is going to be the potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail that's going to be pushing east with that storm. Here's what the leading edge. This is some of that first cell looks like that is starting to interrupt the second cell. That's why we're not seeing a ton of activity with that. There's the heavy rain in Gold City from our Sexton Bin Builders Skycam. Things getting really messy now. And, well, we thought we dropped it. I guess we didn't. Okay. But for the most part, we can give the all clear to much of Logan County at this point. There it is. Expires the warning. So that first warning there, that is being allowed to expire. Our folks at Dareville, Corinth, up to Shaco, that warning is let go. There it goes. So that is done, but still dealing with far eastern sections there of Logan County, basically Middleton. And then pushing off into Simpson County. The storms are getting quite messy. And typically, that usually leads to very heavy rain, some gusty winds. When storms get messy, we start to drop the hail, and we start to drop the tornado threat as well. Not that we've had much of a tornado threat today. There's just not enough low-level rotation with these storms to really get anything to the ground. But that's why we keep an eye on things. Notice, by the way, I'm going to animate this, and you'll see that lead cell that moved through Franklin a while back, maybe, potentially, maybe, okay. Don't want to animate for me. There we go. Notice how that first cell went, split, the northern cell fell apart. That's exactly what we'd expect to see because it's it's starting to get in more stable air. In fact, we've dropped the severe hail part of this current cell now. The Weather Service now warning this for, that's smaller than Nichols, right? 0.75. I used to have my old handy-dandy hail chart. Penny-sized. Okay, that's what I thought. Penny-sized hail. This continues to move to the east at, 35 miles per hour. Jackson asking about Murfreesboro. That's well outside of our coverage area, but some gusty thunderstorms headed your way. Tornado threat is low, but not zero, and that goes for really everybody, especially up towards here in the WABBLES community and into our region. You can actually see some gusty winds moving toward our camera. Our Sexton Bin Builders Skycam in Gold City starting to get some of that heavier rain pushing on in, or the heavier wind out ahead of that rain that's about to push through Franklin over the next little bit. That cell, it's right on top of Barren River Lake, our other camera. Isn't that fun? That cell, you can see the nice clear skies out ahead of it. There's the cell. It's basically on top of them now. Plenty of rain on the camera there at Barren River Lake. Oh, yeah. There's that Sexton Bin Builders camp. Here comes one of those cores pushing right on top of Gold City. Really shaking the camera. The hail possibility is there. I'm not seeing much on the camera right now, but you're seeing the rain, you're seeing the wind on that camera there in Gold City. That's eastern Simpson County. Really seeing the brunt of that heavy wind that's pushing through. And there you see the sun behind it. And probably, I would imagine, we're not seeing that back cell. We're looking straight west, and we see that cell right on top of us. Heavy rain, gusty winds there into Gold City. As that continues, Gold City up to Temperance, likely seeing some heavy rain, some small hail at least here this evening. So we'll continue to be with you for at least another 15 minutes. A severe thunderstorm warning continues for Simpson County until 6 o'clock. And again, these are just about the only game in town. Simpson County, Allen County, Southern Barron County. Continuing with the potential there for the severe weather. Outside of that, we're done. I think severe weather threat has ended in Bowling Green, has ended in Brownsville, has ended in Morgantown, has ended in Russellville. Severe weather threat is over, in my opinion, because I think we've had that front go through. We've switched winds around to the north and west. We're bringing in cooler air now. And drier air, as a matter of fact. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you can even see on the mesonet right here. We'll switch views here. This is the temperatures from the mesonet, and you can see we're still very warm. We went from 88 to 74, where it is now raining. We're back up to 78 in Bowling Green, 80 in Morgantown, but look at the cooler air filtering in behind out in western Kentucky. We've dropped to 76 in Hartford, 73 in, where is that, Henderson? Trying to remember my Kentucky geography. Is this dew points? Yes. Dew points are still up there, but notice we're dropping the dew points. 64 Morgantown, 60 on the north side of Muhlenberg County, 57 out into West Kentucky, 58 in McLean County, 53 in Henderson. So really dropping the dew points, and that's what's going to help shut down the severe threat as we head a little bit later on tonight. But until then, still dealing with very heavy rain, very gusty winds. There's the Sexton Bin Builder Skycam. Putting the radar back up, you see what's going on. We're still dealing with heavy rain, heavy wind, pushing into downtown Franklin right now. We're pushing the heavy rain out of Gold City, out of Temperance. That will shortly push to where Simpson, Warren, and Allen counties all come together. No severe thunderstorm warnings in effect yet for Allen County. We'll see if that ends up being the case. But some heavy rain and wind now pushing back into downtown Franklin. Even a little bit of lightning and thunder starting to pop back up as well as these storms shift off to the east at this time. The other strong storms we have now on the southern shores of Barron River Lake. That'll be pushing east here shortly into southern parts of Barron County, Tracy, Austin, toward Peter Creek and Cooktown. That will stay south of Glasgow, though if you look south from Glasgow, it will look rather ominous. But that storm is not headed in your direction. Further to the west, areas like Butlersville, Red Hill, Pope, not Mark, will be pushing off to the east. Temperance right now seeing that heavy thunderstorm that just moved through. You saw it on our Sexton Bin Builder Skycam, and now we're shifting off to the west, looking back to the west for yet another storm. And this is, I think, our bigger storm here that we've been following. It's been severe warned now for about 50 minutes, almost an hour now. And that'll be pushing toward downtown Franklin. But really, all through Simpson County, seeing some very heavy rain, the gusty wind potential, headed down 31W. Headed down 65 or up 65. Be careful out there because we do have very heavy rain. That's kind of a secondary threat tonight, is because we've been so dry. It's kind of odd because we've been so dry. We're not able to completely soak in a lot of that rain. If it was a lighter rain, we'd be able to kind of soak it in. We'd be able to take it. But heavy rain falling on dry ground will give us some very quick runoff rates. And that's what I'm worried about with this rain as it stands. These thunderstorms with heavier rain could produce quite a bit in the way of some heavy rain and potential for some standing water and brief flooding that these storms will have the possibility to produce. Storms further to the south have been more prolific. Areas south of Nashville dealing with some severe thunderstorms down that way. Franklin, Tennessee, back towards Savannah, Tennessee, near Waynesboro, dealing with the severe weather right now. The only warning we have in our neck of the woods is the severe thunderstorm warning for another 10 minutes for Simpson County, and we'll see if that gets reissued or extended further to the east as this storm continues to push east at about probably 25-30 miles an hour as this pushes to the east. Still a strong storm there. Eastern parts of, it's out of Allen County now, so southwestern parts of Barron County seeing very heavy rain, potential for some small hail and gusty winds. But outside of that, if you're outside of Simpson County, if you're outside of Allen County, if you're outside of Barron County, south of Glasgow, I think you're in pretty good shape for the evening. And now I think we will see more storms. Again, I want to reiterate this point. We're going to see more storms tonight. They'll develop as that frontal boundary pushes through. But the severe weather threat is greatest with these storms that are pushing through. And I've seen there it is. We've completely taken Logan County out, which is good. We remain with the 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds there for Simpson County. Basically, from Turnertown to Schweitzer, pushing on off to the east, there into Salmons, Blackjack, Flat Rock, Gold City, Temperance, continues until 6 o'clock. And the fact that they're continuing this warning at this point probably tells me that they're going to issue a new one for Simpson, Eastern Simpson, and Allen County. Severe thunderstorm warning, most likely. Obviously, I mean, we haven't seen any kind of low-level rotation, and things are very, 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 very messy from a radar perspective. So I'm not seeing anything that would point to me. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot there. That's not a whole lot there. So again, from a velocity perspective, you're mostly looking at those straight line winds. And once we get this on out of here, we're done for the night in terms of the severe weather threat, like we've been talking about. But still with it, still for a little while longer. We haven't received any reports out of this at this point. We have gotten no immediate reports or anything so far. Just checking a few things, looking up. There's a monitor above me. I'm not just looking to the sky. Though that would be rather appropriate, wouldn't it? I haven't seen any reports or anything at this point, so that's good. Again, severe thunderstorm warning continues for another 7 minutes or so. Another 6-7 minutes for Simpson County. We'll see what they decide to do as that pushes off to the east. Again, it wouldn't be shocked if we see them issue another warning that goes into Allen County. These storms are getting very messy at this point, so they're interfering with each other's inflows and outflows. Their downdrafts and their updrafts are being interfered with by every storm around them, which is why you end up with a rather disjointed look like this. These could still put down very heavy rain, some hail, and some damaging winds in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour. We'll see what they do. The heaviest, though, is right on top of downtown Franklin at this hour. I mean, right down Main Street at this point. Some more heavy thunderstorms. Not even a statement on that. That's an old statement for the storms that are now in Barron County. A heavy thunderstorm, not even a thunderstorm, it's a downpour. There's not a whole lot of lightning on that. There's not a ton of lightning within the last 5 minutes, at least, into portion. I'm going to change my lightning to 15 minutes instead of the 5 minutes. That should at least give us a better idea of things, but not a whole lot of lightning on that either. As that heavy thunderstorm pushes into downtown Scottsville over the next few minutes. But once this storm pushes through, the severe threat is over, though more storms, rain and storms, will be possible as we head on into tonight. Bear with me. Still with you here for at least another 5 minutes as we continue to watch severe thunderstorms right on top of at least the southern part of the Wobbles community. Folks tuning in from Bowling Green to Russellville to Morgantown up to Brownsville. Hey, what's going on? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot expected in terms of severe weather, but I do know we do have high school football starting soon. Within the next hour, hour and a half, a lot of the games will be kicking off if they haven't already gone into a weather delay. Some of the games I had them written down because there's quite a few early in the season. Allen County, Scottsville at Warren Centrals. That game's on the road. You're heading out of the storm there. Barron County at Metcalfe County. You might be okay on that one. Bowling Green's up in central Kentucky taking on Scott County. They're fine. Same thing. Franklin Simpson at Lafayette. They're fine. Central Hardin at Warren East. Again, looking okay there. Evanston County, Muhlenberg County. Looking fine. Logan County, Russellville. We had the storms earlier. Looking fine. Monroe County, Glasgow. It's going to be a close call, but I think they might end up being okay with that one. South Warren and Greenwood, things are looking up for that one. And Todd Central traveling into Butler County. Things looking just fine as we head through the evening hours for many of our high school games, especially because ACS is on the road and Franklin Simpson's on the road. So that's it's good. We're not dealing with anything too crazy at this point. So, again, the warning goes for another 3 minutes. At this juncture, we've brought down some of the purples in that. That's good. They're still there. So some at least small hail still possible. But these storms are beginning to become what's called outflow dominated. Look there south of the state line. You see this line right here. That's the cool air that's been exhaled by these thunderstorms. Not to mention, they've got a cold front with drier air pushing down in on them. So they're starting to ingest their own exhaust, their own rain-cooled air, and that should help weaken these storms as they push to the east. Because notice, nothing out to the west. Yeah, we got some showers, and we'll expect some showers into the overnight, but the severe weather threat is mainly with this right here. You see the watch doesn't go any further to the north and west than Franklin and Scottsville and Glasgow, and even then I think we're gonna start to shave that off as we head into the nighttime hours. Technically it runs till midnight, but I don't see that being the case. Personally, I think it's just a heavy thunderstorm now, pushing east along Interstate 65, or right on top of Interstate 65. So some treacherous travel potential there south of the Warren County line. And basically from the Warren County line to the state line, anywhere in Simpson County on I-65 is treacherous travel, with more heavy thunderstorms as well that are starting to push out of the Wobbles community. Those heavy thunderstorms there, eastern Barron County, not severe. Potential there for 20, 30 mile per hour winds, some heavy rain, some small hail there south of 88, south of 90. Same thing near Peter Creek and Cooktown. That'll continue to push to the east. Heavy thunderstorm on top of Scottsville at this hour. We'll continue to push off to the east. We'll hold it here. We're about 35 seconds away from this warning expiring, and they haven't reissued, which makes me think they may go for a special weather statement for this as it pushes to the east. Either way, I'm not expecting a whole lot in the way of widespread severe weather, anything like that, as we head through the nighttime hours. Many of us staying on the drier side. Let alone not severe weather. Many of us staying on the drier side, at least through the evening. We'll be able to get the football games in and then get a nice soaking rain. Yes. They have dropped the severe thunderstorm warning. You saw that blue polygon pop up. That is a Special weather statement, 50-mile-per-hour winds, half-inch size hail now. So that warning is expired. Should be. There it goes. All right. So we've come across the 6 o'clock hour. The severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. It's pushing east of downtown Franklin, but our friends in Scottsville, while not dealing with a severe thunderstorm, will be dealing with some very heavy rain and gusty wind potential. We'll stick with this in case for at least a couple of minutes to see if the Weather Service changes their mind, because it's easier to just keep going with this than hopping back on. But once these storms are finished, we're finished with the severe weather threat for tonight. More storms overnight, more rain and storm potential overnight, but that severe weather threat will be dropping as we head through the nighttime hours. So just updating a couple of things. We'll stick with it for a few minutes in case the Weather Service changes their mind, but either way, the severe thunderstorm warning for Simpson County was allowed to expire. So just give me 1 second. We'll start yapping again. Ha ha ha! And that's why I didn't hit send yet. Severe thunderstorm warning now in effect until 6:30 for eastern Simpson into Allen counties. Hello, Simpson. Been a long day, guys. All right. One second here. Okay, so we're sticking with you for a little while longer. More rural section of the Wobbles community, but severe thunderstorm warning. Despite the fact we haven't heard that many reports, but still dealing with this storm. As it pushes to the east, it's kind of all clustered together now. And starting to see more southerly motion, at least a little bit. It's kind of getting closer to that state line look to it. I've been dealing with these storms now for about, an hour-ish? 45 minutes or so. And still sticking with it. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for Simpson, eastern Simpson. I want to make this clear. This does not include Franklin or Middleton or anywhere west of Franklin, even including up to and including Franklin. You're good. This is not headed toward Bowling Green. This is not headed toward Glasgow even. But this is headed toward Scottsville, 31E, out toward Red Hill, Chapel Hill, Pope, Alonzo, Fleet, Adolphus, Petroleum, Amos. I just like to tell the story when Amos gets involved. I've been to Amos. Yes, I have. Former Weather Not contributor and I, Olivia Cahill, now National Weather Service meteorologist Olivia Cahill, we met a nice pup who was briefly joined us on our storm chase or our storm surveying journey. He's a nice puppy. Anyway, bring the puppies inside because we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. The puppies need to go out anywhere near Scottsville. You got a couple of minutes before this storm starts to work on in. It's not very defined from a radar perspective, really. It's a very just kind of messy blob of heavy rain and gusty winds is really what we're expecting. We also have that potential for hail to the size of an inch, but yeah, not. I haven't heard any hail reports. The view from our Barren River Lake camera, we'll see if we can't move this about. Well, we actually had it, actually. Might have been knocked out. Oh, okay. Looks like we're having a couple issues with that one. So, let's take it back to the Sexton Bin Builder Skycam. Okay. Sorry, looking at the radar now, there's where your hail would be. If it's anywhere, it is right along the county line between Bournes Ford and Eubanks Ford. That's east of Hickory Flat Rapids Road. It's near Mays Branch, dealing with hail potential, Pleasant Hill Road, and pushing on into the southwestern portions of Allen County. So New Row, Alonzo, dealing with the potential there for that hail, which could be up to an inch in diameter or larger. You gotta remember, we're getting farther from the Nashville radar, so it's seeing the beam a little bit higher up, so the hail will melt some as it gets to the ground. But in any case, near Eubanks Ford, Bournes Ford, right on the Allen and Simpson County line, we're going to have to watch for that potential for some large hail. This is south of Franklin Road, or 100, if you will, headed toward New Row. So places like New Row Road, out toward Stony Point Road, out toward Wilson Road off of Franklin Road there. That's where the hail is going to be moving over the next few minutes or so. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning, if you're in Scottsville, you're dealing with the heavy rain and the gusty winds now. That is not the severe storm. The severe storm is off to the west. It is pushing into Allen County. Bring the radar back up. You'll see the cell we're looking at. Again, the heaviest hail portion is about to cross from far southeastern Simpson County into Allen County. Far southern Allen County. Far southwestern Allen County. Out toward New Row Road, Bournes Ford. I guess the next county road there, Luther Herald Road. It's right on top of there and pushing on to the east again. We've been tracking this now for almost an hour. This one cell vaguely rotating. I like to say vaguely rotating. Nothing has come close to the ground that we have reported or seen. But the potential is there. It's not zero, but it is pretty low. Again, you saw those storms. And you notice that the further north you go, they're falling apart, which is a good sign. Well, it's John's birthday. Today's his birthday, 36 years old. Happy birthday, John. Unfortunately, you have to spend it with us dealing with some of that thunderstorm activity. Though if you're outside of eastern Simpson into Allen counties, not dealing with a whole lot at this point. And there is the first warning gone, which was already the case. They just didn't put out the expire statement until just now, but that first warning was gone. Seems like the heaviest part of this storm, as it is presently constructed, will stay south of Scottsville. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get the heavy rain and the gusty winds, because it is pouring in Scottsville right now. But, so far so good. Melissa says, hailing on 102 miles from the Allen County line. Yeah. So that's, yeah. So right in there on Franklin Road. The heaviest of the hail's headed toward Calvert Road. And we'll end up going south of Franklin Road into that little area there that's bounded by Franklin Road, Walker's Chapel Road, and then Calvert Road. That's where that hail is headed. And again, that seems to be the bigger threat right now. We haven't gotten any wind damage reports. Let me double check our friends on X. I haven't seen any reports or pictures or anything there. No. You can see it's trying to take on that supercellular shape. Turning on the velocity, but there's nothing there. That's the thing, and it has been the theme today, is that there's not much in the way of low-level rotation. It's up in the mid-levels. It's there. It's kind of shaping, it's sculpting these thunderstorms into rotators, but it's not quite there. There's not much there that would actually bring something to the ground. And that's a good thing. We don't want to see that. But it's something we have to watch. The worst of that part staying just across the state line there. Nubia, Highland, Fairfield there. Just across the state line again. It's appearing more and more like southern Allen County will bear the brunt of this one. If it holds together, and it's been kind of on the uptick a little bit. There, they've shaved the Simpson County part of that off. So Simpson County now under no warnings for the first time in about 30-40 minutes. Melissa Small, Hale, Allen, Simpson County line. They've actually upped this to a considerable damage tag. Hail to the size of $50. Hail to the size of $50 and 70-mile-per-hour winds a possibility. Aaron's asking about rotation out near Pope. We wouldn't be looking near Pope for the rotation. We'd be looking further to the south at this point. If we were looking at that, we're not seeing really anything in terms of the rotation. So no rotation. Natasha's asking about Bowling Green. Nothing to worry about. This is the only show in town. Bowling Green is no issue. And no issues tonight. Some gusty thunderstorms maybe later, but the severe weather threat is not there later on tonight. But again, this storm continuing to push east at, what'd they say? What did they say on that one? 35 $50 size hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. So we're going to have to be on the lookout here. The potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds. And looking at the velocity, it's not out of the question. Let's see. I believe that it's not out of the question. I'm not seeing anything that jumps out to me right now, but that potential is there. We don't want to discount it. But again, 70-mile-per-hour winds, a potential there. Let me turn off everything there and just go back to a regular radar display. Weather Service in Nashville is warning the southern part of that cell now. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that is likely quite a bit of hail potentially there, which is why we've seen that tag come up. So, yes, this would be out towards Alonzo, headed toward Petroleum, Fleet, Adolphus, Forest Springs, the potential for hail to the size of larger. No, correct, $half. I gotta get my hail chart printed out again, guys. Guys and gals. Pushing off to the east, so that's the biggest threat here. This is pushing off at 35 miles an hour to the east as that storm starts to straddle the Kentucky-Tennessee line there. At 35, here's where we're going with that hail core. Petroleum by 6:23, Forest Springs by 6:30, Oak Forest by 6:37, and then Hayesville and Amos by 6:38 as you head into southern and eastern parts of Allen County. Out towards Scottsville, I think the heaviest of this, at least the way it looks now, they've upped that to 1.75, so that would be closer to ping pong or golf ball. Yes, this storm now is being warned for golf ball size hail. So if you're anywhere in southern Allen County, Alonzo to Petroleum, that area, south of Scottsville, be careful, because we're looking at the potential for hail to the size of golf balls with this thunderstorm. Doing a couple things here again. Golf ball size hail, a possibility with this storm as it continues to push to the south and east at 35 miles per hour. So I'm talking places like Petroleum, Fleet, and Adolphus over the next few minutes, okay? This is golf ball size hail, the potential, If you're out in Forest Springs, out toward Amos, you still have a little bit of time to get the cars in. If you have something to put the cars under, a carport, garage, that's where we need to watch and where we need to put the cars. But if you're in places like Petroleum, you're just about out of time there with the hail potential. I mean, that type of hail, my house, going back a few years, March 2nd, 2012, I had to get a new roof. We had golf ball size hail on the northern side of a supercell there. And again, not discounting the possibility for 70 mile per hour winds with this storm. Fairly strong severe thunderstorm that is pushing through Allen County. The core of it is further south into southern Allen County. This is going to be like just north, within a couple of miles of the Tennessee line. So within 2-3 miles of the Tennessee state line, will have the greatest threat from this thunderstorm. Scottsville, likely just some heavy rain, gusty winds. The worst of this is going to scoot to your south. Okay, the good news is we've dropped some of that core down, so we're likely not dealing with golf balls anymore, but at least the potential for ping pong ball size hail. Just north of Fleet, that's where we need to be on guard for the potential for those winds to 70 miles per hour, as well as that large hail pushing through. Scottsville looks like you're going to be okay with this one itself, but further to the south, that's why the severe thunderstorm warning continues, is for the potential for 70 mile per hour winds and up to golf ball size hail. I think we're probably closer to quarter to ping pong ball size now, with that pushing east again. It seems to be what's happening is the outflow from that storm has popped another cell just south of the state line. It's not as much connected to this one. That's a new cell. That's not a hook. That is, well, it is a little bit, but it's more of a new cell that's forming with that as it pushes to the east. So again, this is the area we're going to have to watch over the next few minutes for the potential for that large hail. Petroleum, Adolphus. Anywhere between Petroleum and Adolphus along 31E, we've got to be careful with this storm that's pushing through. That's New Gallatin Road, 31E as well. Places like Andrew Jackson Highway, Macedonia Road, further on to the east, Concord Church Road, which connects Macedonia Road to Scottsville Trammell Fork Road. That's the area in southern Allen County that faces the greatest threat with this particular thunderstorm. Billy Joe is asking about which way it's moving. This is pushing to the east at 30 miles per hour. This is the only storm we have, basically. And once we get it on out of here, once we can get this into Monroe County, we're done with the severe weather threat for the night. Doesn't mean we're done with thunderstorms. I think we'll see some more storms tonight. But I don't foresee any severe weather threat once these storms move through, because the front will be moving through. And most of the forcing is kind of displaced from the front, if that makes sense. So just taking stock here. See if I've seen anything. Not seeing any reports, which is a good sign. But again, and in fact, we'll put a track on this. That area of purple, that is where your hail will be. We're using Radar Omega. So Forest Springs by 632, Oak Forest 639, Hayesville 639, Amos 639. Walnut Hill by 644, Holland 641. So areas that are not currently covered by the severe thunderstorm warning will likely see it extended to the east as we work through the next little bit or so. But again, this storm has had a history, at least potentially, of producing large hail. It is warned right now for golf ball size hail. Looking at the signature, probably a little lower than that. It's starting to be definitely interfered with by the cell to the south. Oop, I don't want that. Hang on. The cell to the south, there into Sumner and Macon counties, mostly still in Sumner County, Tennessee, which is just outside of the state, just outside of our area. I think it's going to start to rob some of the moisture inflow to this storm. So while it will have the potential to be severe, I think our tornado threat is pretty low with this at this point. And areas north of Petroleum, you're dealing with some heavy rain. You're dealing likely with some gusty winds. But the hail threat, the wind threat is biggest right now along 31E, Macedonia Road, Old Hartsville Road, shortly toward Forest Springs, Mount Union Road. We'll be dealing with that potential eventually out toward Isom Bradley Road. We'll be dealing with the potential for hail to the size of at least quarters. It's currently warned for golf balls and 70-mile-per-hour winds. I would imagine the heaviest of the wind. Let's turn on the velocity and we'll see. Yeah, the highest velocity returns we're seeing are right along the state line there between Adolphus and Sugar Grove, Tennessee, which we're right. That's just outside of the state. That's just there. Sugar Grove is just south of Adolphus. They're on Old Highway 31E or State Road 174 as you cross into the Volunteer State. But again, The hail and the wind threat continues to be the biggest issue with this storm. South of Scottsville, once we can get the warning dropped and or get this thing out of here into Monroe County, though likely it'll have to go through southern Barron before it does, that's when we'll be able to kind of ease on back. Because once this is done, the severe weather threat is over with, heading through the nighttime hours. Another couple of severe storms in eastern Kentucky, Pulaski, Rockcastle into Laurel County, areas you don't want to see under any kind of warning after the spring we had, and then over toward, those counties are all strange shapes out there, and they're smaller. So one box and you've taken in like parts of 5 counties out there. That's, Breathitt, Johnson, Floyd, Magoffin. Yeah. But again, that's all pushing off to the east. We don't have to worry about that. It's the only storm we have to worry about is the one that's currently on top of 31E, pushing into southern and through southern Allen County at this hour. That is the only area that's dealing with any severe weather. Glasgow, I think you're done with the severe weather. Franklin, definitely. Russellville, definitely. Bowling Green, definitely. Certainly Morgantown and over toward Brownsville as well. Done with the severe weather threat. So just still have to deal with this one cell pushing through Allen County, south of Scottsville. It's a very rural part of the community, of the WABBLES area. And the good news is we haven't seen any reports come in to us on our social media channels. Nobody in the chat, nobody in on our X feed or our Blue Sky feed seeing anything, which is a good sign as this continues to push on off to the east. This is still warned for 70-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball size hail. At least the northern cell. The southern side, which is Sumner and Macon County in Tennessee. And this storm is getting a get-along here as this pushes to the east. So again, about 35 on this. Should have it out of the county here soon. The only community, in fact, that's popping up on our track is Holland, and that's 5 minutes after the warning expires. But it wouldn't shock me if we do get that warning extended to also include eastern... I always do that with the track. Far eastern Allen, southern Barron, and then eventually out of the area into Monroe County. Non said sirens went off in Barron County. It shouldn't have been. No part of Barron County is under any warning right now. It's only raining a little in Barron County. So I'm not sure why the sirens would be going off. They're under a severe thunderstorm watch, but certainly wouldn't set the sirens off for that. Don said maybe for the football game. Glasgow's at home tonight, but Barron County's on the road. So if you're out near Glasgow High School, maybe. But I had KHSAA pulled up. Hang on. I would assume that kicks off at probably 7. 6:30 or 7. I mean, it could have been the Scotties, but... Yeah, it's a 6:30 kick. It could have been the high school, but certainly not for the weather, I wouldn't imagine. Tracy says she had marble-sized hail, lots of high wind and lightning, knocked down a few trees behind her house, but nothing major. Where are you, Tracy? That's about the only report we've gotten so far. The worst appears to have passed Scottsville. It's still raining heavily, but the severe weather threat dropping rapidly. And again, once this storm is done, You've been with us now for an hour. Once this storm is done, it's pushed east out of Allen County, far southern Barron County. And in far southern Barron County, we'd be talking places like Tracy, and the warning's been allowed to expire. Okay. I have a feeling that's going to get extended, probably, maybe. I mean, that signature still looks pretty rough with that storm. Tracy's in Adolphus, so yes, that makes sense. Marble-sized hail and high wind and lightning with that. The warning let go. The warning expired at 7:30. I'm going to stick with it because just based on the history, how they've been treating this storm, I would imagine that they're not finished and may go far southeast Allen County into Monroe, which will be outside of our area. Once it gets into Monroe County, it is out of our area of responsibility. Watching the weather wire. Let me refresh it. Have I missed something? Okay. Nothing much right now. And it does appear that the heaviest of that storm is pushing. So the heaviest part of that storm is now into, what is that, Sumner? My East Tennessee counties are, or that'll be Macon County. So that the heaviest of that storm is now over toward Macon County. I think what's happening here is the storm that blew up on the south side of it on some of that outflow really kind of stole some of the show. So the warning has been allowed to expire. And imagine if we're going to let that warning go, that we're eventually also going to... Okay. Storm has prompted the warning is weakened below severe limits and no longer poses an immediate threat to life and property. All right. That's good news. So some heavy rain, some gusty winds will continue, upwards of, I would guess at this point, 40 to 50 miles per hour. But yes, Tracy says crazy how fast the temperature dropped. That makes sense because we're really bringing in that cooler air on the backside of this storm. That's why things have been much quieter on the backside. I don't know. We don't like to use that Q word, but that's one of them at this point. But again, if the heaviest of this storm looks like it's going to stay in Macon County, we'll go ahead and hop off here because we're just about done with this. And I think it's safe for us to do that now because I think the heaviest part of the storm is in Tennessee. So some heavy rain and gusty winds for those folks south and east of Scottsville. Okay. Holland, out toward Amos, Mount Zion, Fountain Run, which is just on the Metcalfe County side of the county line, Walnut Hill, Oak Forest, likely dealing with 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, maybe some smaller hail, but I think the severe weather threat is rapidly waning, and that right there is it. The heaviest of that storm is in Tennessee. I think we'll be able to hop off here. Again, I haven't heard of too much. Tracy, though, said she had some trees down. If you can safely get a picture of that and send it to us, we'll pass that along to the Weather Service. Tracy joining us on Facebook, so if you can shoot us a message with that in it, we'll pass that on to the Weather Service there in Louisville. But again, if that continues the way it looks like it will, we'll be able to hop off here in just a second. And yeah, that'll be it for the severe weather threat. Winds gusting maybe 30, 40, maybe up to 50 miles per hour. But the heaviest of that storm will be quickly pushing east into Monroe County over the next few minutes. So I think that will just about do it for us here this evening and we'll be able to hop off. Tracy's asking, is this going to be all the storms for tonight? All the severe storms, yes. The severe weather threat rapidly diminishing. We're going to watch a stable layer build in heading into this evening. And once that does, and it is doing that right now, once that does, we'll see some thunder and lightning with some more storms later tonight, but they will not be severe. At least the likelihood that they're severe is much, much lower. So that should wrap us up here. We've been on here for almost an hour and a quarter doing the severe weather coverage. Most of us have been dry. We've been following for our folks down there in Logan, Simpson, and Allen counties. Technically, the severe thunderstorm watch continues until midnight for Simpson, Allen, and Barron counties. We'll likely see that trimmed away quickly. And so we'll go ahead and hop off. If something somehow comes up, we'll be back on. But I think for the most part, the worst of that's in Tennessee. Even if they do reissue that warning, I think we'll be in good shape as we work through the next little bit. So we'll go ahead and hop off for now. Updates will continue on our social media channels. But again, the heaviest part of that storm now not only out of our area, out of the state, but some heavy rain continues southeast Allen County for the next little bit. We'll be hopping off, and hopefully we won't have to hop back on for the rest of the night. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and what looks to be a beautiful weekend ahead.